Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM20 story with Dorking Wanderers with me, Daniel. It's season 7, episode 6 if my maths serves me right, and today we're back at the end of a very frustrating January transfer window. We've got deadline day where we've got to try and pull something out the bag. Everything's gone pretty disastrously on and off the pitch. Off the pitch we've not been able to get any deals done. We're really hoping we can get one or two in, and on the pitch things have started to slide pretty dramatically. We've not won a game in this calendar year. We're down to 6th and just in the playoffs on goal difference following a euphoria of being chasing the top 2 in the last episode. Now we're 10 and 12 points behind respectively, and it's looking like a bit of a battle to hang on, to be honest. So it's a little bit of a tough start to the episode. Hopefully my mood will improve before the end of it, and that would suggest we've got one or two in, and then if we've got enough time we'll go and face 5th place Blackpool on the road, although they of course could be the nail in the coffin, particularly if we can't get the work done we're hoping to. But firstly, before we get into transfer deadline day, as we have dipped into the red again financially, a massive thank you to everyone who continues to follow the series. If you're enjoying it, please do put a thumbs up on the video, it does make such a difference. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe for daily FM20 content. We've got 2 long-term stories, the head coach is back tomorrow, a thrilling climax in our championship season in that one. We've just had a job change in the middle of the season, one of the most dramatic transfer deadline days we've ever seen on the channel, and now we're pushing for promotion towards the end of the year, but things are starting to take a bit of a hitch in that one too. So make sure you check that one out tomorrow. If you missed any of that series or this one so far, it's in the eye above if you want to catch up. But let's go and get into transfer deadline day. We'll accept taking part and we'll go and get some deals on the road, and hopefully we'll be back with some transfer news soon. Well, we have made our first couple of offers at deadline day, only 8:15 in the morning, but let's go and have a look at the deals that have happened so far. First was Barry Cotter. We talked about him leaving in the last episode. 300 grand up front, up to 400 grand potentially for Barry Cotter. He was our first choice right back. We'd have loved to have kept him. Dundalk come into a lot of money though. They're offering big finances for players, and again it's a player that's at 27 years of age, average at League 1 level. We couldn't really turn it down. We're looking for a replacement for him still. We haven't been able to get another right back, but for that money we just can't turn it down, and it's keeping us afloat financially as you've seen. Then 40 grand for backup centre half Lawrence Maguire, another one we're trying to find a backup for. He was actually no better than the 18-year-old Wilson we got from Aberdeen, so that's the reason we've sold him on, to be honest. So 70 grand he's worth now at Carlisle, but we managed to get 40 for him, a pretty decent deal, and he only has 6 months left on his contract too, so that's a really good bit of business in my book. And we've got the one in so far, that is of course Joe Wilson. Pre-agreed, we'd already had a little look at him, but 2-star ability, 5-star potential, 18-year-old who is wanted on loan by a couple of clubs, but he's in Stoke the team at the moment. We might just keep him here for now. He's working in our mentoring group, we're trying to get him more determined and professional, and as we go along I'm sure he'll get chances, particularly if we're floating in mid-table towards the end of the year. But let's move on through deadline day. They're the ones that we knew about already, but we've got some big work to do in the rest of the day, so we'll be back in a moment with some big action hopefully. So first incoming deal of the day impending, Luke Thomas, a left back. We did try to sign him in the summer on a free. He's gone to Wickham and he's not been able to get football there. We're trying to sign him now for just over 2 grand a week. Only £17,500 a transfer fee. Another low risk signing, a really good player. At 24 he can play left back and left midfield, trying to solve one of the problems with our potential loanees. We're looking at getting one more first 11 loan player in, as Joe Thompson's dropped out of that 11 on the left wing. Ogbene in for him, but not really reliable, so we need to have cover on the left wing if possible. So Luke Thomas is going to be that man, a good player with plenty of potential, and on £2,200 a week, that's a pretty low risk signing for us. So in he comes, we should make a profit nonetheless, but Luke Thomas will be the first signing of the day, and we'll go and meet him in more detail in a moment. Here he is then, B- the fan reaction, 3-star ability, 4-star potential good championship left back. He's competing of course with Matt Smith, who was a brilliant signing in the summer. He's had a really good season for us too, but 2 really strong young left backs. The reason for it, to be honest, Jake Hughes has struggled this year. He's been struggling with injury throughout, only actually been fit about half of the season, and we could do with loaning him out now, getting some natural fitness, might even sell him on if the offer's good enough, but he's not really quite making it at our level, so he's going to be replaced at left back by Thomas. That leaves us with Thomas and Smith as our 2 options, and I'm really happy with those for the season. So let's go and register Luke Thomas to the squad, and we'll be back in a moment with our next bit of business. Okay, signing number 2, probably the final one of the day if we're being honest, and it's Calvin Ramsey, a 22-year-old from Hibs, and the first time we've made a pretty significant investment in a player. £170,000, £4,000 a week, eclipsing John King's loan deal as the highest paid player at the club. It's a star player on a 2.5-year deal, right back replacement for Barry Cotter, an improvement for half the price, and if we go and register him in the squad now, and then we'll go and meet him to see just how good he is. So I think he might be an under 23 already actually. Let's go and find him. Where is he on that list. Am I going insane? Let's put them in name order. Who am I missing out on here? Ramsey, down to the R's. He's not there. What's going on? Let's get rid of the unavailable players. That's because he's still got a couple of days left on his knock. Joins us with a twisted knee. He will miss next weekend. But aside from that, he's been fine. He's got no long list of injury problems. So let's go and have a look at him. We'll ask them to welcome him to the club. Matthew Smith, a bit of a club legend, of course. Let's look at the report. 3.5-star ability. Significant improvement on James Simpson, the current right back. If we have a look at his overview, he's got championship potential. Really good tackler. Really good physically. Pace is electric. Stamina's good. Can play further forward if need be as a wing back. Also covers on the left if we really need it desperately as well. Going forward, he's not bad. He's a good attacking fullback, but he can play well in that defensive duty too. So for the rest of the season, I think he's going to be a superstar, and I'm looking forward to what he can do for us in the future. We'll get him in that mentoring group early on just to try and develop him along the way, but I'm feeling a little bit more optimistic now. Though of course he could get a big injury soon. This could completely backfire on us, but I think we've got our perfect replacement, and finally a bit of optimism to make a difference at the club. So we'll skip through the rest of transfer deadline day just in case anything else does happen, but if not, we'll be back at the end of the day and we'll reflect on our window before playing Blackpool away at the weekend. Well, we've got an offer for Jake Hughes. It's not a massive one, but 25 grand for a player that we got for nothing. They only want £100 a week as his wage contribution. With a year and a half left on his contract, I make that about 7.5 grand. So overall, it's a 20 grand transfer. We're just going to take it. We've got two much better left backs at the club. Jake Hughes will just wish well for the future and send him on his way to Walsall. If we look at loan offers, we've got a couple for Manny Cook as well. No one offering to pay anything towards his wages. I'd rather sell Dominic Samuel, the experienced player, keep Manny Cook as the backup for now. So in fact, let's just offer him out to clubs, but I think the transfer value is going to put a few off. So let's see if that makes anything happen. If not, we'll be back at the end of the day. But so far, so good on transfer deadline day. We've covered the main position we needed to. The deal is done then. Jake Hughes' second spell at the club and his first permanent one didn't work out. £25,000 a transfer fee. Take off 6 or 7 for the wage contribution. That leaves us with just under 20. A decent player, 4 appearances in this spell, 2 in the one before, but never really got going due to injuries. And in the end, is probably a good job he's going because he's just been eating up wages and sitting on the sidelines. We paid a few grand in specialist fees as well, so we need to be a bit careful with people like that. But Jake Hughes is on his way to Walsall. What league are they in? Are they League 1 or 2? They're League 2. They're doing well at the moment. I'm sure they had a few players from us before actually. Are there any names we recognise in this team? Let's go and have a look. Just looking for 1 or 2 from before. They've got Sam Stubbs who we tried to sign, but I can't see any that they had already. So we probably won't have too many familiar names there. But overall that should be the end of our deadline business unless Dominic Samuel suddenly gets an offer. So he's going to be moving on. We've just agreed to sale and we'll be back at the end of the day or when we next have some transfer action. Well, one more surprise signing in the evening. It's a lone player as we were looking for all day. Again breaking the wage bill record at the club for a half-year deal. But another returning face. We're talking about second spells all day today. Jordan Johnson, we had the second half of last year. 18 appearances, 2 goals. Did a solid job for us in the middle. We actually suit him a bit better now. We've got a box-to-box midfielder in the middle of midfield. And it allows us to drop McKinnon, who's a little weaker than the other two. So hopefully Johnson will make a bit of an impact. Been making Premier League and Carabao Cup appearances for Everton. He must have something in the locker. So we're going to sign him for the end of the window and let's see how he compares to the rest of the squad. 3.5-star ability, 4-star potential, a really good signing. Rated better than Moles and Smith, but only just. It's very neck and neck between those three. They'll be first choice. McKinnon will drop to the bench. Just gives us that extra bit of depth in midfield. Absolutely perfect. We've got a deal about Nicky Byrne. We're not going to be signing him. Don't worry about that. We're pleased that Everton have sent us Johnson. He's going to be a very good player for us in this half of the year. And it means our backups will now be McKinnon, Humphreys, Durnley and either Bowie or Bolger. The other one we can try and sell on for the end of the window. So that might be the last bit of action today, but otherwise that will be it for transfer deadline day. Good to get a bit of optimism and a few big signings in, and we'll see if they can make a difference at the weekend against Blackpool. Well, we've offered out Bowie and Bolger in central midfield, and it looks like Willy Bowie's the man getting interest. Big wage contribution there, we've got to be careful of that. Ross County not asking for anything at all, so he's got a year and a half left on his deal. If we play for Chesterfield's one, we're not going to get any money out of that, so that seems a little bit silly. We're not going to do that. We'll reject Chesterfield's offer. Let's see if he'll accept Ross County. We'll just try and work it up a little bit, maybe towards 50 grand if we can. So let's see if we can get away with 46. That's halfway there. They've accepted that. That's a perfect deal for us. We signed him for absolute peanuts in the summer on a free agent deal actually, I think, when it's expired. From Ayr United we didn't pay a penny for him, and after 3 appearances he could be moving on yet again. Off he goes, Willy Boly, £46,000. What a good end to deadline day that is. A player who was 7th choice out of 3 central midfielders. That's a fantastic deal for us. His potential had gone down massively as well, so he was probably never going to make it here or at the next level to the Championship when we got there. We've not made many moves in the transfer window, relatively quiet. How will it affect our short and long term plans? That's a bit of a weird question. We're on course for success, we've got a good squad. We just needed 1 or 2 in to get the belief back amongst the place. So we'll be back at the weekend now as the transfer deadline has slammed shut. We've got a couple in, that's a really good window. So let's quickly round off the ones that we've bought in and out. Coming in on deadline day, Luke Thomas for 17.5 grand. He'll compete at left back with Matt Smith. Calvin Ramsey, the big signing for 170,000. He's going to be our first choice right back replacing Cotter. And Jordan Johnson on loan for the rest of the season. Second loan spell in a row in 2 seasons. And he's come back from January to the end of the year. Hopefully he'll give us a bit of impetus in midfield. So they're the ones in. Jake Hughes and Willy Boly went out. That's a combined 75 grand coming in. But 3 really good signings who will impact the first team squad, and we'll check them out against Blackpool, and we'll be back to look at our previous results before we get into the game too. So I'll see you in a minute for match day. Hopefully we can cement our place in the playoffs again. Well, we're back for the Blackpool game and we've got a few injury problems to worry about. We'll go through all of those in a moment, but let me quickly show you the results since the last episode, and it has gone pretty disastrously wrong. So you're actually with me for our last win, which was a brilliant performance against Ipswich. I was really excited in that one. We were flying through in decent form, back to winning ways as well. But unfortunately January not so good, certainly not disastrous. We've only lost 1 game, but no wins, 5 draws, not many goals at either end. It's been a pretty boring month to be a Dorking fan in truth. So at the start of January we went to MK Dons. Callum Dalton again got the goal for us. Scott Wright pegged us back early in the second half, and to be honest we did well to hang on in the end. A 2-2 draw at Port Vale, a brilliant comeback in this one. John Kearney got Port Vale off to a flyer. Tom Cook off the bench and John King with 2 late goals to equalise. Peterborough at home we lost 1-0. Adam Lewis got the goal. You may remember him, FM19 fans. Torquay United anyone? In fact I think we had him in both saves. Was he not the only one that crossed over in both series? I think we had him at Barnsley in the head coach. We definitely had him at Torquay where he became a club legend for us. But a really good wing back, and he's exactly the same in this year's game. Not quite so much in terms of stamina to be honest, but he got the winning goal for Peterborough there. Another one who's come back to kick this channel and give us nightmares. But then 3 games at the end of the month all ended in draws. 1 all at home to Chesterfield. Cole McKinnon cancelled out late on. Away to Wimbledon we got a late equaliser. John King with that one late in the game. And then a 0-0 draw at home to Rotherham United. A pretty boring game across the board. I was going to show you that one. I'm glad I didn't in the end. Although the attendances have started to dip with those poor results. And a 0-0's not going to help things against Lincoln next time out. But today we're all focused on heading to Blackpool. So let's go through and pick our lineup for today. We are still in 6th place as it stands. Blackpool in 5th. It's going to be a very tense game up there. We need to get back to winning ways sooner rather than later. And at the very least keep this unbeaten run going. We've got Tom Cook out, James Simpson and Calvin Ramsey. So you can see where the problem is immediately there. 2 right backs both missing. Though Calvin Ramsey is fit enough to play apparently. He's got an orange injury but 94%. Let's have a look at it. A twisted knee. We're just going to have to risk it. If he misses a game or 2 then so be it. But who says you get anything if you don't take a gamble? So Calvin Ramsey's coming in at right back. He's going to try and get through 90 minutes. Thomas will come on bench in place of Jake Hughes who's left the club. Is there anyone else we can bring on there? Johnson's going to come into the squad. That means Joe Thompson has to drop out entirely. He's going to be replaced on the bench by an attacking player. I think Dominic Samuel will fit that bill. And to be honest we'll take Bolger off the transfer list now, particularly as Willy Boly's the man who's moved on. Joe Wilson will fill the other space on the bench. That should be the 18 pick there. So in comes Johnson straight into the lineup. McKinnon will drop out. Moles will go over to the right side of the deep line playmaker in the 3. And then the box to box will be Johnson in the middle. Hopefully that will suit him down to the ground. And then on the bench McKinnon gives us strength in midfield. Plenty of good options there for us. Aside from that I think we'll go with the same 11 and 18 for now. So that's the squad we've got for today's match. Joe Wilson's on the bench. He's not made an appearance yet for us. But there's every chance that could happen in the next game or 2. Particularly looking at Jack Walker's fitness there. That looks like something he's going to struggle with. But our 11 for today is Mitchell in goal. Ramsey the injured right back alongside Matt Smith at left back. Walker and Mark King the reliable centre halves. Moles, Johnson and Matthew Smith in midfield. Almost a throwback to last February onwards. And then Dalton and Ogbene over on the wings with John King on his own up front. He's been scoring goals for fun. Him and Dalton still the heroes. 13 in the league now for John King. Heading for that 20 mark yet again. And Dalton just behind him on 12 now on the right. Both of those having having fantastic seasons. Well, unusual formations at Blackpool here. At Bloomfield Road, they're going for a 3-6-1, 2 wing-backs, 2 holding midfielders, 2 attacking midfielders and a striker. We've no idea how it's going to work, so let's just get into it. Very young side. That's 8 regens in the 11 there. Only Palmer and then the 2 players in midfield that aren't. That's a very interesting setup for them. We've got a pretty young squad ourselves and a couple of injury worries too. But let's just go and get into the first half, see if we can sneak ourselves a result here. Well, no highlights until the 45th minute. Into the box, a header from a free kick. Set pieces cost us again. We were just coming back into it, but Blackpool nicked the lead. It's the perfect time for them to do so. And again, we've managed to throw away a good half performance. We've not been at our best, but we've certainly competed. Then we give it away on a stupid set piece. So Blackpool lead 1-0 at the break. We're going to tell the lads it's disappointing. Just can't get them out of form here. We're not going to say much in the end. We've accidentally clicked the wrong button. Not the sort of thing that happens in team talks normally. We're going to go positive in a second half, see if we can make an impact, but it looks like we're playing just as badly now. So I think we're going to go attacking in a moment, though it looks like Blackpool are on the front foot again. Can we go more direct maybe? We're getting outplayed in midfield. You'd expect it with them having 4 central midfielders. Out to Aggie on the left and Blackpool forward again. Back to Liam Williams in the middle. He's gone back to McCarthy. Out to McGowan on the left. So much time for them. They're playing rings round us and they shoot from the edge. That's a wonderful goal. Flynn McCarthy, let's go and look at his long shot rating, shall we? Actually 11, so fair enough there. He's a really good player on loan from Watford, but scores a screamer from 25 yards. There's nothing in the world we can do about that. So I'm just going to drop back to cautious as we defend another set piece. Oh, it's almost a carbon copy. In towards Sadler, we've not got close. Matt Smith loses his challenge on the left, and it looks like this is going to be a long day at the office, though Bene's just nicked it high up the pitch. Got time to run into, space to go to too. He's going all alone into the box now. Shoots and tipped wide by Palmer. Probably a little greedy, could have laid it for King. With half an hour to go, that's the first time we've looked threatening all match. It's going to be an outswinging delivery to be taken. Matthew Smith, always the reliable from set pieces. That's straight at the first man. It's a woeful corner. Headed away as far as Ogbene on the left. Chance to cross. Hits it straight at the first man. Out to Underwood, who's been setting up all those set pieces. Perfect delivery every time from him. And he goes back to Ashworth on the left. Headed away to Ogbene. We've got time to bring it out. Can we finally create something here? Underwood commits a very cynical foul. And the highlight flitters out just like that. Well, time for changes. There's a few nervous players out there. There's a few not playing well either. So I think we're just going to give debuts here. No, we're not going to win. Joe Wilson's going to come on for King. He was at fault for one of the goals. The second one I think they judged him to be at fault for. Ramsey's got a knock, so Thomas will come on for him. Matt Smith switch over to right back for the first time since he joined the club. And then Matthew Smith struggling in midfield. Ogbene looking anxious. Which one do we bring off? I think we're going to bring on McKinnon for Smith just to give him a rest for the last 30 minutes. So in we go to the last half an hour. Probably no chance of getting a result, to be honest. But let's just see if we can get damage limitation. As you can see, Ipswich are helping us drop out of playoffs. They're drawing 3-3 at home to Sheffield Wednesday. Lots of goals flying in other matches, but it looks like this one's going to be a bore defeat for us. Our first one in 3, but it extends the winless run to 7 or 8 now. Second minute of stoppage time, we're finally seeing another highlight, and even then it's Blackpool coming forward. McGowan to Williams, he finds McCarthy. Wonderful goal to seal this game for us. And McGonigal's done the same. I mean, what Mitchell's doing, I don't know. Basically standing by his far post and saying, have a go at this side, will ya? He does just that. He flies it in. Absolute hammer blow of a strike. Almost a Thomas Hitzelsberger-esque one there. And the keeper had no chance of getting across then. But a 3-0 victory probably flatters Blackpool slightly. We never look like getting anything out of it. And bar that Ogbene shot, I don't think we saw an attacking highlight, so we can't really argue with being defeated. So a good end to the January transfer window, plenty of excitement for me. Let me know what you think in the comments of those signings, but of course it hasn't shown on a pitch just yet. We were absolutely battered there at Blackpool. A 3-0 defeat, it was very comfortable. We drop out the top 6 in the end again, and it's now 7 in a row without winning for us, and our second defeat in that spell as well. So let's go and have a look at the schedule to see when we might next be back. We'll probably do 2 more episodes this season, so one about halfway, maybe Oxford, Wigan, Sheffield Wednesday or Wickham. There's 4 good games in March, so we'll come back for one of those. And then at the end of the season, we've got Exeter at home. Hopefully there'll be a playoff spot up for grabs still then. Maybe we'll have already confirmed a place, but it's likely we will have dropped down to mid-table. But if you did enjoy this episode and that frantic end to January transfer window, please do put a thumbs up on the video. Let me know in the comments what you thought of the signings and then the horrific performance that followed it. Are there any other tweaks we can make to the tactic? I don't think there are. It's worked pretty well, and we're not losing many games or conceding too many goals. Don't forget 2 of those were absolute screamers. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel for daily FM20 content from both of my long-term stories. We've got a thrilling end to the head coach season in the next episode tomorrow. That one's at 4:30 the usual time. We're at a tycoon-led club. We've had a brilliant transfer window there. A few exciting episodes as we've chased our way up the table. And tomorrow it all comes to a head at the end of the season. So make sure you pop along to see how that one's going. This one will be back in 2 days' time as we come back about halfway towards the end of the season, desperately trying to get back in that playoff hunt. But it looks like things are just frittering away slightly. We can't get back in form, we can't score goals, and it seems to become a little bit of a struggle for us at the moment. But the optimism's still there, so I hope you'll stick with us too. Finally, I'm part of a podcast that does matchday vlogs and interviews, and you can see the link to the matchday vlog playlist in the eye above. A massive thank you to everyone that supported and tried those. We really do appreciate your positive feedback. But a massive thanks for watching this one and your continued support of the series as always. And I hope to see you next time as we continue to chase a playoff place.